Welcome to the Ugly Truth.
Whoops.
I was just trying to think. There's some things that I wanted to tell you, and I don't want to forget because it was so funny that it happened to me yesterday. I have this really cool flannel shirt that I love, and it snaps, not button.
Okay.
It's old, and I love it, and it's been kind of chilly and windy, so I put it on, and I was like, oh, God, you know what? It was one of those days where, and we get this from our mother. I don't know if you do this or not, but if I get really cold, I have to take a shower, a hot shower.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care what time of the day it is. It's always weekends anyway. I don't do it during the week, but on the weekend, I'm like, I'm so freaking cold. I'm just going to take a hot shower.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting on the toilet and I have to take a hot shower. So
You're cold.
Yes. And I just decided. So I had a sweater and my flannel on, and I had forgotten that I had put the flannel on. So I'm sitting and I stand up, I rip the sweater and the flannel off at the same time, forgetting that I had the flannel, and a snap caught in my nostril.
Of course it did.
And I ripped. Because I'm just so aggressive whenever I do anything. So I ripped it off and I was all, ah! And I was like, oh my God, I made myself bleed.
Did you?
Yes. I gave myself a nosebleed. How hard did I rip that thing? And I'm like, well, this is embarrassing.
And what are the chances that a snap is going to go in your nose as you're ripping it off?
I don't know. But I started laughing at myself because I'm like, you know what? Am I not too old for this? Shouldn't I be behaving better? Should I be a little more graceful?
I don't know.
Just ripping shit off. I don't know. Maybe laugh.
I would have laughed too because stuff like that happens to me. I just feel like I can't catch a break either way. Things that I inflict on myself.
Oh, it's always myself.
Generally, or things that are inflicted on me. I was coming home from work on Friday. I had the worst day. And I was so close to home and a giant rock hit my windshield.
No.
Loud. Scared the crap out of me. Like, you know the noise when you're on the freeway. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh shit, and I'm like, did it hit my hood? You're immediately.
What did
it
hit?
No, it hit my windshield and right in my, yes, Aww. It's a huge chip. And I'm like, no, I'm like, God, no. I swear to God, ever since I bought this new car, it's like a target.
You know what? Daryl has always been a target for broken glass.
It's never happened to me.
Oh man.
In any vehicle I've owned in my life.
So when I drive my car, it's pristine. There's nothing wrong with my car. I don't get dings. I don't get scratches. I don't get little knocks on my window. Nothing. Daryl drives it.
Immediately.
Pebble hits it. I have a little bullet, little thing, like a little spider mark. Has it been fixed? No, it's been 7 years. It's been there forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And every time we get in, he goes, oh, yeah, we really got to get that fixed. I'm like, yeah.
You give him the look. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I could go do it. I could do it.
Of course you could. But
I just don't. He always
why do you promise things? Not you. Why do people promise things that they have no intention on doing? And that's what pisses me off because literally I come home. I'm this shell of a human from the day that I had because this had just happened to me. I couldn't have been more deflated than I was at the end of that day.
Yeah.
And I come home to chaos and ill people and
you're like, oh,
the trash isn't taken out and then
Calgon, take me away.
So many things. Yeah. I cannot escape my life, whether it be at work or at home. And I'm like, my windshield got cracked. I'm very upset about it. And he's like, oh shit, really? Did it? Yeah, it did. Yeah. I was quiet. I had my low voice on and I'm like I have no fucks to give anymore. I'm done. Can you please call SafeLight or go online and figure out how that works because they'll come to your house and fix it?
They will literally.
Sure. 2 days later, I'm like, did you ever call? No, I don't feel good.
It's hard.
I'm going to.
I was saying this to Daryl. I think it was today. I said, this is as far as I'm going to go as far as politics goes. I said, you know why I could never run for office, Stephanie? Because to rely on others to get me my job would drive me insane.
Everything.
I couldn't do it.
They write their words for them.
They're
they
just
don't
like,
even have to think.
They're like, thank you, everyone. Thank you. And I'd be like, you better fucking vote for me. God damn it. Like, that would be me. I'd be like, why?
True.
Why not?
Jamie Trump.
Why aren't you voting for me? God damn it.
Yeah, that's why the man is such a lunatic because no one can control him.
Oh my God.
Like normal politicians are controlled. This man will not be controlled.
No. And so I'm like,
frightening.
Even if I could control myself in public, I would be like, I have to rely on others to get my job. Well, you know what? And that's a that's a type A control freak kind of attitude. I don't mean Trump. I mean in general.
No.
But it
is a skill, I will tell you, because when I first started doing it myself, I had zero control. None. Everything came out of my mouth or in my fingertips when I'm typing an email. You were going to hear it.
Yes.
And I've learned it didn't behoove me.
No, it doesn't work.
If I wanted to be successful,
you have to learn how to play the game.
You really do.
But I will say that, like, I'll listen to Daryl, massage meetings or do whatever. And I'm like, he's not like me, though, where he doesn't. I think it comes from a lifetime of unreliable people in your life. Not you. I
know what you mean.
In work or friends or whatever.
Yeah. Life.
Very, very rarely have I had people in my life where I know that they're not going to screw me
you over in any way.
You do not screw me over. Daryl just never screws me over. So it's like, and
our kids. No,
they won't screw me over, but I can't 100% rely that they're going to be there when they say they're going to be there.
That's true. They're kids. Yeah. I didn't mean in that way. I mean, as far as like our kids wouldn't backstab us.
No. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, if I need to get something done and I'm seriously needing to get it done, there's only a handful of people I can really rely on.
That's true.
But when I was in work and stuff, I can't tell you how many times I'll be like, well, did this get done? You're like, oh, well, I was going to get to it. I'm like, listen.
See? This is my life at home.
I think that's just in general.
And then I ended up doing it. I ended up looking at Safe Flight. It was really hard to do, by the way. You Google them and they're the number one thing that comes up in windshield repair.
Right.
And they have like a great online system that lets you put your make, model. It tells you exactly how much it costs. Schedule me. And then I'm like, oh, and so then, I was so grateful for the convenience of doing that, and they come to your house.
Mobile, it's so nice.
And I was like, well, it's $165. I'm like, I think that's reasonable.
It is reasonable.
And Jerry's like, that's expensive. I'll find someone else. I'm like, oh yeah, just like you found, you were gonna do this 3 days ago.
What, in the spring when the frost thaws?
I'm like, no, I don't even care anymore. If I could just push a button and make it happen and be like, like a genie, done.
I know.
I don't care if it's expensive.
Someone said that hyper independent women that's a trauma response.
Oh,
because they've never been able to rely on anyone to take care of things. And so
I definitely believe that about us.
When you see, I am very guilty of this.
Me too.
Although Daryl's gotten better.
I hate to say this to you because it sounds condescending, but
no, it's all right.
You are lucky that you have someone that you can mostly rely on all the time.
Right. Well, he's also learned. He picks his battles because there are times when I'll be like, hey, can you dump the garbage? He'll be like, yeah, sure. Crickets. And this is a very common complaint. And so finally I'll be like, never mind. And I'll just pick up and I'll go and do it. He's like, I said I would do it. I'm like, when? When were you going to do it?
I asked you 3 minutes ago.
He's like, can I get up? And I'm like, no. And so I just I drag it on out.
Because honestly, we're not asking because we just looked at it and we noticed it. We're asking because we're trying to throw something away and you can't. So now it's impeding what it is that I was trying to do.
Always. And so
why don't you get that, people?
Right. I know. But the inability to trust that they are going to get up is something that is ingrained in our psyche from years of not having people do what they said they would do for you. And so you're like, never mind. And you drag it out yourself. Like, have you seen the videos of women dragging dryers out to the street?
Because they won't do it.
Because no one does it when they need them to do it.
And we just can't wait for you. Yeah.
Right. So there's no time. I'm so excited.
So I shared that my significant other has not been feeling well.
I know.
Really, really unwell, actually. Yes. And to the point to where I have empathy. So this morning, I'm leaving for work. I'm rushing out the door like a tornado, as usual. And my child was being ridiculous. And he's not with me going to school because I'm like, I'm done waiting for you. I'm done. So I'm leaving. And here's my little semi-feral animal that it's like your...
Sasha.
Ramon.
Oh, Ramon.
Yeah, it's like your Ramon, but did Ramon go away?
It's been, about a year. Oh. I think he's gone.
Oh, you never know. Yeah, so anyway, long story short, here my Ramon is outside, and he doesn't often come and just sit on the porch unless he's really hungry, because we have a lady that feeds her versions of Ramon's and mine too. And so he goes back and forth between, and he's fat, and he's not starving, but last couple of days he's been showing up, so... I immediately see him. I'm like, oh, are you hungry? I was like, oh. So I open the door back again as I'm like, hey, I'm like, Brucey's out here and he's starving. Can you feed him, please? And I shut the door and I'm like, he'll come out in like 2 hours after my poor cat is starving and probably wanders off because he'll be like, I'm tired of waiting. No one's coming. I'm hungry. So I'm getting in my car and all of a sudden I see the door open and here comes this frail person, sheet white, in his socks with the cat food in his hand. He's like walking to, and I'm like, damn. I'm like,
Well,
he actually fucking did it.
Well, animals are a very different thing.
Well, he knew I would call in 5 minutes, be like, did you go outside and feed Bruce?
Did you do it yet? Did you do it yet?
I'm sitting in traffic and I'm sitting here thinking about it. Yeah. He's hungry.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Ramon showed up. It was a strange story. So during the pandemic, Ramon showed up and he had a huge abscess on his jaw. And so
I remember this.
Daryl was so kind to allow me to take this poor animal to the emergency vet.
Seriously.
I took him to the emergency vet.
Jerry would have performed surgery himself.
And I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it myself. I've removed abscesses on cats before. It's fascinating.
Painful.
Nope. They don't mind at all. Nope.
God.
I even asked the vet the next day. I said I had performed some kind of extraction. It was significant. It was 3 a.m. when I did it, but they were like, no, that's what we would have done. You know, there's nothing really to do. They can't feel anything at that point. It's so significant. Not. Anyway, so I took him. They gave him they anesthetized him so that they could clean him out really well.
Okay, good.
Treated him, gave him some, shots and all the antibiotic stuff.
There's a cute little orange kitty staring at me. He's like,
little Lucas. He has the cute little face. He has the cutest face.
I just love orange cats.
Oh, I know. They're so good. Oh, and he's so chatty.
Oh, I love it.
He's so chatty. Anyway, so I take him home. I released him into the wild 3 days later. He attacked us. He was like, get me out of this house. He like scratched and bit and he wanted out. Well, the doctor did say that he likely had feline FIV. He probably had some kind of something based on his blood work.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, well, what does that mean? They're like, well, he goes, first of all, he's one of the best kitties. I can't believe he's feral. You should bring him in and you should make him your own. I'm like, okay, I will. He goes, are you going to? And I go, yeah. He goes, because if you're not, I want him. And I'm like, well, you can have him. He goes, well, I don't want him, but I'm not sending him to the shelter, but if you will take him, then
that's the best outcome for me. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great. He escaped. He wanted out.
Yeah. You can't contain them if they want out.
No, he was gone.
I hate people who say that too. Yeah. You're supposed to keep him indoors. I'm like, look, if a cat wants to go out, if he's an outdoor cat, especially if he's been feral, you're not going to stop them.
Domestic cats find a way.
They will get out.
Baxter got out on Halloween night. My black cat got out on Halloween night. God. Scared the crap out of me. And you know what he was doing? He was sitting on the roof like a gargoyle, watching all of the children.
He's like, it's Halloween.
And then I'm like, I know this is your night to shine, but you need to come in, you idiot.
Yeah.
God. So Daryl had to get an 8-foot ladder and climb the roof. And then, of course, Baxter's like, what? He turns around, he shows Daryl his ass. I'm like, get over here. So he finally allows him to
would he have come down, or was he
when he's trapped on the roof, he cannot get down.
Oh, he can't get down.
No, he scales the fence, leaps onto the roof, and then enjoys himself.
And he's like, well, now what?
Well, he expects that we'll let him in on a window, but that window is no longer available because we've actually fixed the screen.
Oh, he could have.
So he can't get in anymore. So we have to rescue him every time, and it's really annoying, especially because he clings to the ladder like, help. He's such an idiot. Anyway, so Ramon takes off, comes back like 4 months later.
Oh.
He looks great. He looks good. Everything's great. I always give him flea medication when he shows up, all the things. And he's gone. Then he was gone for a really long time. And he showed up, and he had clearly had some kind of surgery because he had a scar from one side of his front leg to the other side of his front leg, like a U, from one end to the other, and it had been shaved. And suture. It looked like it was sutured.
So did he have an owner?
Here's what I think happened. I think a coyote got him, and he survived.
And it was just healing on its own, or somebody found him?
Somebody got him and took him to the vet, and he'd been repaired.
Yeah.
So it
crazy.
And he showed up for every day for months. And so I'd feed him and everything, and he was fat and he looked great. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy for him, you know? And then suddenly he was gone, and I'm like, okay, here's what I think. I think that somebody else is doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, probably.
And they finally just said, you're coming in now. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, you're going to die, and I've saved you from near-death experiences many times.
Right. And so I told Daryl.
And someone else has too, because of the abscess on your face.
And he clearly had sutures.
For sure.
So I think that two of us had been keeping track of him for some time, and now he's just gone.
Yeah.
No trace, no thing.
Hopefully they have him.
So I told Daryl, I said, here's the thing though. We've been taking care of Ramon since we moved in. He showed up like a month after we moved in.
Oh, yeah, I guess so, huh?
So we've been here for 12 years.
Oh.
And Ramon was probably 3.
Well, I mean.
So he's probably 15, 16 years old. It's possible he's still alive.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think he's dead anywhere because the reality is that I went back to where he used to hang and there's no trace of anything.
Well, it could be.
And the coyotes are gone.
Yeah, it definitely could be the other person.
I think somebody is taking care of him.
Cats
I think he's old now.
Cheaters, yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard for me to say it because I have 2 cats that are both over 15 right now.
If he showed up,
you would never know.
If that cat showed up, I would cry.
Right.
Tears of joy.
Yeah.
But I think he's inside somewhere.
I hope
frankly.
so.
Especially after I saw that surgical scar.
Yeah.
Or they just basically sewed him up.
It's hard to say.
The fact that he survived.
There's a lot of good people in this world who watch out for feral animals, stray animals.
And we have a colony. Well, yeah, we do have a little colony because they'll show up on our cameras at 3 a.m.
Yeah, looking for food.
We have a little family of deer that have decided to show up every day. I'll show you a video later. It's the mama and her babies, and they eat all the acorns that the squirrels fling onto our driveway. They show up and just eat them all. They have a great grand old time.
That's good.
Yeah.
I love animals.
I love them too. I really do.
I even get sad when I see dead ones in the road, like raccoons.
Stephanie,
and stuff.
I saw a dead black cat the other day.
Oh,
I haven't seen a dead cat in so long.
I can't.
Nobody kills them anymore. Like nobody.
No. Well, I
was very surprised.
We've all gotten really. I mean, it could have just been. Yeah. I mean, I feel sorry for someone because their cat probably got out,
obviously, and it was a black cat. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, no, it's awful.
Terrible. Anyway, so yes, that's what's going on right now with all of my cats and all of your cats.
Yeah,
and my nose and all of the things.
I know.
So
I've been so tempted to go get one.
How was your Halloween, by the way?
It was okay. I told you we had a light. My son was Luke Skywalker again because he couldn't be Arthur from Red Dead, and because he didn't like any of the outfits, and so I had been bitching at him for weeks to charge his lightsaber. He has one of those fancy lightsabers that you can buy. It was like $300, and he hadn't used it since last Halloween. So he
dusted it off.
I had been searching for the charger. He couldn't find it. I was like, okay, it's a standard charger. Can we use one of the 3,000 chargers we have in this house? He's like, I didn't want to use another charger because it could screw up the CPU unit in it. This is my son.
Genius.
Yeah.
Goodness.
But finally he relented because we couldn't find it an hour before it's dark.
Oh my gosh.
And he's trying to charge it. Well, then it was having a problem. And he was, I couldn't believe my son. It really shocked me. His dad was already not feeling well. And so he really wasn't in his usual, like, let me do it. And so my son got a flashlight. He got a little screwdriver. He took it all apart. He was in his room. He was very meticulously going through the little wires and making sure each one was attached. His dad tried to help him. He's like, I got it. Like, he didn't want help.
He wanted to do it.
I was so surprised.
That's
and
great.
I'm like, okay. So then we thought it was a lost cause. He had tried everything. It had a weird battery in it, but it was a rechargeable battery. So I was like, you know what? Sometimes the batteries just go out. And even if it's rechargeable, you have to buy a new one. Yeah. And I'm like, we're obviously not going to have it tonight. So I'm like, if you can't get your lightsaber working, are you still going to go trick-or-treating? Because you had the full costume. He's like, no, absolutely not.
Oh.
I'm like, you're not going to go because you don't have a lightsaber? He's like, no.
Oh my God.
It's the whole costume.
Okay.
I'm like, it's not. You have a cosplay Luke. It's got everything. It's the coolest costume. No, he's not going. So then I'm like, all right. So I'm like, okay, well, am I off the hook for Halloween? I'm like, I'm not really happy about that, but okay.
Yeah, you guys love Halloween.
So, well, I love that he's still a kid.
First of all, I gave candy away to adults.
I
don't care. I will give you candy. If you come to my door, you're getting freaking candy.
For me, it was just like, I know because we have adult children now, it goes so fast.
It does.
And I know I'm going to be there again very soon. Yeah. That I'm like, it still makes me happy that I have a child that trick-or-treats. Because that's not going to last.
And here's the other thing I like about it. Your son's 11.
He's 12.
Okay, your son is 12. I had a throng of 14 to 15-year-olds show up at like 7:30.
Oh.
They were dressed up. I'm like, do you know how many other shitty things they could be doing right now? This is amazing.
It's so good.
So I gave them all. I gave the one girl. I thought she was kind of the more reserved one. I gave her the Reese's peanut butter cups. Yeah. Everybody else got something else. She's like, oh, Reese's peanut butter full size.
They are the bomb.
It's
Jeff got some full size too this year.
Nice. But we don't get a ton. So for me, it's just. We get full size.
Yeah. Well, so we didn't get any, as a matter of fact, where I live. It's
you didn't get trick-or-treaters?
I didn't get any this year.
What?
No. Last year I didn't. I got very few. I saw it on the news this year that they said that Halloween in general was a really low turnout this year.
Why?
I don't know. They said that a lot of people did the trick or trunk thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's fear or I mean, I don't know. It was cold.
We did have more than we had last year, which was very surprising because we actually had a family leave. They moved, and they had 3 kids, and then the nurse that lives across the way from us, she has 2 boys. Yeah. And I thought they were here, but then they left because they predominantly with their dad, and they live in a really nice part of Sacramento. So that's definitely the better place to go. But I was like, I fully expected we wouldn't get anything. So I was really happy with the turnout, but I am surprised that you didn't because you're in Court.
I live in a great neighborhood, and no, we didn't. So our neighborhood is aging. That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
So, but anyway, at the end, when I thought all was lost, I was out in the living room because it was Thursday night, so football was on, of course.
Yes, of course.
And here, all of a sudden, I hear, I heard the noise, and I was like, oh shit, he
Eureka!
got it. Yeah, and he came out with a huge smile on his face. He's like, it's charging. Okay. I'm like, okay, son, good job, And so I'm like, well, how long before it's fully charged? He goes, it takes an hour. And I'm like, well, and so I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, it was like 6 o'clock. I'm like, son, people aren't going to want you to show up at their house. It's late already.
Yeah, I think the latest we got was 8.
Yeah. So he charged it enough. They went out. They were only gone for about 30 minutes. I was like, oh, peace and quiet. And then like all of a sudden I hear my son likes to scare me. That's his new thing. Yeah.
Oh,
he just pounded on the door as loud as he could to scare the shit out of me, which he did. And I opened up and he's got his lightsaber in his hand and a pile full of candy. He's like, I was bored.
Oh my God. So my son moved out after recovering from his breakup. He came over to do some laundry actually last night. And we're like, hey, how was your Halloween? Did you get any trick-or-treaters at your house? He goes, I did get one.
One?
You got one? He goes, yeah. He goes, I was chilling. I was watching football. And I heard a dad go, well, the light's on. We should try it.
Yeah.
Because he lives in a really cute neighborhood too.
Yeah, I know where he lives. It's lovely.
And so Tyler goes, I happened to go to Smart & Final to buy some groceries, and they have like candy so you can buy for like Little League games and stuff. Yeah. He goes, so I bought a box of full-size Airheads.
Oh,
he goes, because I like to eat them when I'm driving because he works for delivery. Or for like UPS.
Got it.
Anyway, so he's like, so I had some. He's like, oh God, I guess I better break them out. And so he was so excited that they knocked on his door. I go, it's your first trick or treater.
Yes.
He's like, and he was cute too. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I'm glad. Oh, we got so many cute little kids.
I mean, they're all cute.
Little Cookie Monster.
Oh my God, I would die.
This little 3-year-old. He goes, I'm a Triceratops. And I'm like, here you go. Take this candy.
Love it.
And the mom's all, thank you.
Well, when I was coming home from work, and I get off at like 4:30, it's still light outside. I was pulling down my street, and there were full droves of people. I was like, dude, I'm like, it's not even, and I understand when you have little tiny kids.
You want them out. You want them in
totally.
And out.
She's looking at me like, where are you going? I'm like, we're all just getting home from work.
I'm going home.
We're not even here yet. Like, please. This is a working neighborhood, actually, for the most part. So
that's funny.
We're pulling in. We've got the candy, but yeah, can you give us half a minute?
Well, the holidays are here, Steph.
Jamie.
Just like that.
I got to get my turkey. I was at Safeway the other day, and I'm like, okay.
Is it time to get turkeys?
Well, pretty much.
Oh my God,
it's in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
3 weeks. We have almost a month. Oh my God.
No, we don't have a month. We have
almost a month.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It does fall closer to the end of the month this year, but it's going really fast.
It's like the summer was a slog, and then suddenly it's like
the summer was a slog because it was so friggin' hot.
I couldn't take it.
It was 110 for like 100 days.
Like if I wanted to live in the desert, I would live in the
desert.
desert.
It's so awful. It was terrible. It was miserable. I'm still paying my smut off.
So are we? Are you kidding? The first heat wave we've got, Daryl's like payment plan, like immediately.
Right? Oh, yeah. Somebody asked me today. They're like, "Oh, what do you pay?" Because they live in a studio apartment. And I'm like, they're like, what do you pay for smut? And I'm like, during the heat wave this year, I'm like, it was like $500 a month.
It was crazy.
And they were like, fuck, are you serious? They're like, it would take me 6 months to rack up that much against smut. I'm like, how much? I have a house.
Yeah, like a whole house with people.
Yeah, I'm like, and they were home, when it was 112 outside.
It was unbelievable.
And animals. You can't let your animals out. I'm like, it's too fucking hot.
Did I tell you about the time that Sasha wouldn't come in when it was 116 outside?
I would drag her.
Stephanie, I've never been more angry at an animal in my life. In my life.
Were you dragging her?
Well, first of all, because you know how fucking dogs are.
Yeah, they put their paws down.
I'm getting angry right now thinking about it. She ran around the whole yard.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Stephanie, There's nothing
worse.
worse.
And they smile when they do it. They're like,
there is nothing worse. And I'm like, I have to find a way to corner this dog. I can't even just say, you know what, fine, die. Because you know what? She will.
They will.
So I'm like, I have to do this. My eyeballs were burning. It was so hot outside. So hot. And so I'm like, okay. And of course, luckily, Bodega's tired, so he's inside. So I'm running around. Finally, she decides to hide and cower in a corner in the backyard. And I'm like, I hope for my sake this dog doesn't try to bite me or anything.
Or piss. That's what they always do.
She didn't pee, but she wouldn't come. And so I had to direct, and her nails digging into the concrete. And I'm like,
and they're heavy.
What are you doing?
This is what, an 80-pound dog?
She's probably 55.
Okay.
60.
Well, still.
That's a lot.
It's heavy.
I used to be
And when they're resisting you?
I used to be able to lift a 40-pound block of cheese when I worked at Round Table. This is much worse.
Well, because they're like you said, they're digging their paws in, they're stiff.
And oh my God, Stephanie.
It's like trying to hold a baby.
She came in and she was
tantrum.
Yeah, she came in, she's like, oh, this is so nice. I'm like, if I was an abusive person,
I would kick you.
I would find a bat and beat you with it.
And I'm sure you were sweating by this point.
It was so bad.
You were like, I can't believe that I'm out of breath and I'm sweating to get you in the house to save your own life.
The thing is okay, I'm verbally abusive to these dogs.
Well, they don't know. They don't speak English.
They don't. And
as long as you're not screaming at them.
No, I don't scream.
Me either.
It doesn't work.
I'd be like, you're really stupid. I say it
so
like
she'll
that.
come in and she does this thing where she acts like two socks. She's like, she's very skittish.
She's like,
she's very skittish all the time. You walk towards her, she'll be like, oh! And she like takes off. And people are like, well, God, why wouldn't she look the way you treat her? And I'm like,
my God.
She was like this at 12 weeks old. This animal never, ever, ever recovered from whatever trauma she had before we got her.
Someone ruined her.
Someone really abused her.
Yeah.
And
so awful.
The breeder told us that there was she wasn't right, but that she will improve. She never improved.
Well, she did a little.
The vet even said, they're like, she's a really sweet dog, but something's wrong with her. And we're like, yeah, we know, but now we got her.
What are we supposed to do? How old is she now?
5.
Yeah.
So it's like we have her now. And, we do love her. And she's so sweet.
I love her. And my son loves her.
She's so sweet.
She loves my son. I don't know why.
What's weird is she wants affection so terribly, but she won't allow it. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's like she has that disease where you touch someone and it hurts.
It's crazy.
Like they want to be
if she's laying down and I'm petting her and stuff, she flinches constantly. Aww. And I feel terrible because I've never hit her. I mean, we've never done anything because we're really afraid that whatever happened to her, whatever it was,
beneath the surface.
Yeah.
She might bite or something.
Nope. She never has. Yeah. She's terrified of humans just in general. And I'm like, if we didn't take her, she would have ended up dead. They would have put her down.
For sure.
For sure. We got her. But anyway.
She's the best she can be.
She really is. Well,
thank God.
Stupid idiot. Oh, yeah, I'm verbally abusive. So she'll come in and she'll do the whole weird thing. And we're like, just come in. It's raining. Come in. Come on. And you have to play all these dumb games with her to try to get her in. And she won't. She just stares at you.
You're going to kill me. I know it.
And she just stares at you. And she's like, no, I don't think I will. And so we close it. And then she's like,
oh, God.
It goes on for hours.
Oh, my God. That would make me insane.
Yes, it does. And if you try to grab her by the collar, she'll rip out of it and take off into the darkness. So you can't do it. You just have to. She has to decide that she's coming in.
I don't know how you ever get her in the car because I go through this with my puppy, my young dog.
I don't know. We haven't had to do it yet with Bodega. He's still alive, so she's good with it. Yeah. But on her own, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, I see. She'll go where he goes.
Yeah, so she'll come in. I'm like, hey, you stupid idiot, dumb dog. How you doing, psycho? And so Daryl, I said, hey, ask your friend Josh when you guys play your game. They play Call of Duty like every couple nights. Go, hey, ask your friend Josh if he's verbally abusive to those dogs because I know he hates his dogs because he didn't pick them. They're like little dogs. And so he goes, yeah, are you verbally abusive to your dogs, Josh? He goes, well, I say hey, dummies, hey, weirdos. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm a bad person.
No, you're not.
God, I'm so harsh.
Jerry says things like.
So harsh. I'm like,
they speak Russian. They don't know what we're saying. He's like, they have no idea. I'm like, all right, you're probably right. So depending on the breed, he'll usually pick a country and be like, hilarious. Yeah, that's what they speak.
Yeah, my dog speaks Siberian, so they don't know what I'm saying.
They have no idea.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and we'll be back probably next week with a new show.
Hopefully.
Bye.